back to the podcast. You know what? I don't really. I just realized that I never selected a name for this podcast. I have like what I'm actually calling it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm actually calling it. So I think that's something we need to work out what the name of it is, because it needs some kind of catchy name, but I don't know what it is yet. So we got to put that a note that we have to figure out a name for the podcast. But once again, it's me, Sean, back at it, and we have Greg here with us again. And
welcome, guys. It's my second time as Sean's co-host.
There we go. So we were just talking to like, man, well, I'll tell you what, this whole podcast thing, it is complicated trying to do it over distance and make sure that everything is working correctly. But slowly but surely, anybody who likes and subscribes and all that kind of stuff, please leave comments, notes, any kind of thing. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know if things are going good, going bad. If you have questions, I'm going to say this again at the end of the podcast, but if you have questions or anything like that, please put it in the comments. Let us know, or tell us that it's garbage because our sound sucks or whatever it is. But we are working it out. And as I was telling you before, Greg, I will be in the Philippines in the week of the 15th. So I'm going to be heading over there, and Greg and I have not actually officially met in person. So my idea is I'm going to get Greg extremely drunk, and then we are going to, that's just the best way to bond with somebody, because you get all the real out under those circumstances. So just look forward to that, Greg. We're also going to do a live show when I'm there as well.
Sure, we'll do that. I look forward to doing it with
you. You drink, Greg?
Yeah, I drink hard, so you better be ready.
Whoa! Listen. I always tell everybody I am a working professional, but I am also a professional partier. So believe me, I will party with the best of them. I promise you that.
Right.
That's good. Okay.
We'll see about that.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. But like I said, we're going to record when I'm there. But as we're just going to we're getting to know each other better and getting to know this whole process better. But just bear with us, as I said, and just know that we're going to keep improving until we get this to be exactly what we want it to be, and good for you and everybody else out there. I had to turn off that fan. That fan was, I had a fan on it, and I could hear it. So I think it was like causing me some kind of grief. I don't know, whatever. Okay. So, all right. So on this one, I said to I sent Greg here a video from another YouTuber just yesterday, and I'm not going to say the YouTuber because that's not the important piece. I'm not trying to call anybody out, but they did bring up a very interesting topic that I thought we should discuss here today, Greg. So this particular YouTuber put it at that foreign men that are doing a disservice to themselves by not talking to girl, the prime age for talking to a Filipina is between the ages of 18 and 22. Didn't she say 18 and 22?
Yep, 18.
Yeah, 18 and 22.
She said 18 from 18.
Sorry. 18 to 22. That is, and now, and where this comes in, where my question is, I will let you know what I think, but I'm so curious. Okay, I'm 48. I'm 48. Is that inappropriate? Is that crazy? Is that crazy or is that not crazy? I'm genuinely curious what you think about that. Is that crazy for somebody that's my age to hook up with a girl that's between 18 and 22?
Here in the Philippines, it's not even new. It's not even new at all. We will not ever wonder if an 18-year-old woman, joins or getting partnered to an older man. It's not even new at all. Yep.
It's not new, but do you think it's weird? You don't think it's weird at all? You don't think it's you don't think it's bad? You don't think it's weird? You don't think it's none of? You think it's fine?
Of course, it leaves a bad impression to the environment, to the people around you, but it turns out as a normal thing here in the Philippines. So I personally find it I have my prejudgment about that. I'd say.
Greg, hang on a minute. That's why we're on this podcast. That's what I want to hear. I want we know it happens. We absolutely know it happens. Now is your chance to talk trash about it happening. I want to know what you actually think about it.
Of course, if you're just between an 18 to 22 and you're joining to, like, let's say 50 plus
Right.
above a Westerner, what I would think first, of course, of all, you know, of
Mm-hmm.
all people,
Mm-hmm.
why would you like allow yourself, what would you get from, getting partnered to an older man if you're just 18 to 22? I mean, there's a lot around the world who's like a lot younger than them. Why it has to be an older one, right?
Right,
So
right.
we started to question the decision making of that woman, but I think she must have his or her own reason for that, and we respect it. But what can we do if we do judge the person? There's always a judgment, but if that's what she wants, maybe there's like a reason, so we're open to it too.
What do you think of the what is your opinion of the 50-plus-year-old man? You know, listen, I want to hear. See, you know what you're doing. You're being so politically correct on all of this, and I don't want to hear none of that. Like this, just so everybody knows, there's nothing politically correct about this podcast. Never. I want to hear you be. I want to hear you be like, no, I think he's terrible. Like I think he's or I think no, I think it's great. Like what I really want to hear what you really think of it. And
We're
and remember, you're speaking for all Filipino men everywhere.
right. We would like to get. I mean, we also would like to get the point of view of the older ones, because if you are, if you're like, I'm sorry, I'm not even trying to say, like trying to put it on a bad way, but
No, no, no. I want to no. See, you're sugarcoating again. I want to hear like the real thoughts about it, the whole
all
thing.
right,
Yeah.
if you are in your, sanity, why would you date an 18-year-old woman, right? Why would it, if you are in a good mental state, why would you go to the Philippines and date for an 18-year-old woman when you can date 25 above, right?
Right. Right. Listen, see, and that's what I want to hear. So many people, when I say they always say, "Well, it's their choice, it's okay," but at the end of the day, we all know that something about that is very odd. It's very like it's very odd. Like I would feel very uncomfortable. Yes, I know it's legal. I know all of these things, but it's still it's a very odd pairing. No, so let me ask you. The next question would be like we know that 18. So what she's saying that 18 to 22 is like the best time. The next thing she said was that 29 or 20, I think it's what she said, 28 to like 30 was whoa, the camera just like zoomed in on me all crazy. That was wild. And you know what's crazy? You know what's even crazier is I don't know how to unzoom it. No, I do. Yeah, I do. Oh, look at that.
I think you should.
We're having technical difficulties here. Ah, there we go.
There you go.
It's all the hand gesture things. And mind you, anybody watching this podcast, like just so put it out there, like once again, technical difficulties. And when I'm speaking with my hands, because I'm American and that's what I do, it does like weird stuff with the camera. So with that being said, she was also saying that like it was like I think it was 27 to 30 was like approaching like too old. Like that there's something wrong at that point, right? So do you agree with that? Do you think that by the time a Filipina reaches 28, 29, she's approaching like past her prime and you're delving into bad territory?
Actually, I can agree with her on that. It's because when you get to that age as a woman, I think um, there's already a pressure inside that you have to have your own family already by that certain age.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's a that's a lot more a question of them. Like, I have to build my own family by this age.
Right,
So
right.
people on that age tend to be more depressed, overthinking about the future, and then it's somewhat like a, a time for them to question um, their womanhood, their
Right.
womanhood at that age.
See, that's so weird because here here it's like it's becoming more and more common that people aren't even thinking about a family, marriage, kids, any of that until they're well into their 30s. You know what I mean? And like it's that's such a like but you do agree that as far as Filipinas are concerned, that like once they hit like 30, it's becoming like, oh, that's too old. Like it's starting to become like, so then I guess my next question would be is, okay, me being 48, right? What is the ideal age? What is the ideal age and the appropriate age that you think a Westerner that is in my age group should be dating?
Dating, I think, with no judgment,
Uh huh.
that for you to be able to get respect or like
Mm-hmm.
less judgment from the Filipino community,
Mm-hmm.
I think on that age we are very much understanding and very accepting if you date to certain age like 25 above. If you could also 28 above,
Mm-hmm.
that's actually no question at all.
Right. So you ideally, because you also agree that like the 30 is a bit old, so you think that somebody in my age group should be looking like 25 to 20, let's say 29, 5 to 29 is like that's the sweet spot. That's the place that I should like, and that's the place where no judgment, no whatever. And
Yes.
you know what's even crazier is that here that pairing would be, oh my god, I would be. They would everybody would murder me. They would tell me I'm terrible. They would be like at my house like with pitchforks and fire and telling me how terrible I am. That's I love the like, and that's what I want to hear is just the concept of like what you guys view as appropriate. Like, do you think that are there many Filipinos out there that have like that are in their 30s and don't have children still and aren't married or none of that?
Population wise, I believe we have increased the population of women who are still single in their late 30s.
Really, really.
Yes. Hmm.
So you think that but now but those women but so why wouldn't you recommend somebody at my age looking for women like that?
It's so hard to find. Like, it's so hard to find. Because you know what? Online dating is really the most suggestive way for you to be able to find one.
Mhm,
It's very rampant here to make an online account, find someone online,
mhm.
and then it does not just work for some. So I think from Westerners' point of view,
Right,
if you think you're alone, you're not alone. We have a lot of here
right,
waiting for
right,
you. Just
right. And okay, all right. Well, that's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. I never really, I've always wondered, like, especially from the men. I swear I've always wondered like what they're actually thinking about when they look at these situations. And like that's why I'm so glad you're on this podcast, Greg, because like you really, I think obviously you hear things that I don't, right? That I never would, and you're in an environment that I'll never be a part of, not really, right? So you get a different perspective on things.
right. You know, let me tell you one thing about men, Filipino men, okay? We actually have like less reaction to it. We
Mm-hmm.
have to be more watchful about women because they're the ones making an issue. So we don't have an issue like you come here in the Philippines, a 50-year-old above, and date
Mm-hmm.
a single age. We don't have a reaction to that as men. We have only less reaction to it.
Really?
Only like women have, issues about that.
Yeah, they have the big opinions on it. Really,
Right. Hmm.
really. That's wow. Like I can't stress to you how like just from my perspective how crazy that is. You know what I mean? Like it's so completely different than how we how we view things culturally. You know what I mean? And then okay, so I mean that's good. Do you have anything else to add before I move on to the next topic? Do you have anything else to add about that particular topic that after watching that video? And you know what? I will put a link to that video in there and into the into the video because I'll link that one so that way other people can see that video too. And I also believe in promoting other creators. And let me say this: it's not to bash what other creators say. I value everybody else's opinion on the things, but from and then just before I close this out, let me say this as a matter of fact that for me, anyways, like the idea of me like making a partner from somebody who's 18, that's just too young. Like, what would I have in common with somebody of that age group? You know what I mean? Like, what? how can I relate
I'm
to
sorry, guys. I just really have Sean asked my honest opinion about it. But yeah, on my perspective, I cannot contain seeing an old woman like date an 18-year-old. If you go to the Philippines, go on date 25 and above. There's no question to that. But
that?
if you are just don't date 18 years old to 20.
Right. It's just to me, they're at that point they're so like it seems like it's like a power imbalance. There's something weird about it that like for me personally that I just think. And I mean, don't get me wrong. If that's what you do and everybody's happy, I mean, so be it. Like, oh, so I can only speak of me personally, right? Me personally, not something that I would do. I just think that it's yeah, it's a little too excessive for me. Even in the 20s, in the 20s at all is kind of like sticky for me. But like at the end of the day, I respect the fact that hearing the opinion and it does open my mind a little bit to how I think about the whole thing. And it's always something that I try to tell everybody. Like I tell my own sons when you go to another country, like throw all of your things about your country and throw it in the garbage. Like stop trying to like tell you can't go to another person's country and then try to like tell them that what they've done for since the dawn of time is wrong and what you do is right. You know what I mean? Like what you do is right for you in your country, just like what they do in their country is right for them. So
That's
don't try to impose your own set of rules or belief structures on
right.
their doing in their own spot. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right. You can feel like that there's something wrong about it,
Yeah.
right?
Right, right. Yeah, like I said, I get it. I get it that it's legal, but even still, even if it's legal, legal and right, I think are two different things. I kind of, like I said, no judgment, but whatever. That's just kind of it is what it is. Okay, so there's that one. The next one, something that came up this week a lot is. Let me ask you, what do you think income wise, because so there a bunch of conversations come up, and this came up from buddies of mine this week as we were talking about, me going over to the Philippines and how the conversation came up is I'm like, they're like, oh my, you have to you go over there and then you're going to spend a whole bunch of money, and from my perspective, every day that I'm there and not here, it's less expensive for me, right? I would pay more in food here than I would for food, lodging, and entertainment there. You know what I mean? Like every day, just me going to just eating regular food, doing regular stuff, nothing expensive, nothing, but just the translation of money is so great between the two countries that just me being there is like saving money, right? It's not like even going on vacation. It's like because vacations typically cost you a lot of money here, right? But going there. So the question to you, Greg, is what what monthly salary do you think is well let's start with the basic. What monthly salary do you think is enough if you are living in the province
Okay.
and living in the city? So and let's start out with what you think is enough as a Filipino. Let's start there.
Okay, are you asking me in dollars or in peso?
In pesos. Okay, in pesos. We'll do the conversions after.
Sure. Um, if you're gonna live in the province, province is a low-key life. It's less expensive. It's a lot cheaper if you live in province. So the budget for that, say for example, you have to build your own family, or just you and your girlfriend and
Yeah,
your family.
let's start out just like you as an individual in the Philippines, in the province, and then in the city. How much do you think is what do you think is enough, and then what do you think is good, right? Like go both numbers.
Right. 30 to 50,000 a month in pesos.
And that's good in the province, or is that just enough?
Actually, that's more than better.
Really?
Yeah, you're
So
working in a government, you work as a teacher, when you get paid 30 to 50,000, that's actually more than enough for us to survive, okay? For us to
right,
survive,
right,
not
right,
get
right,
rich.
right. Yeah, right. That's like so 30 to 50,000 a month is like enough to live on. Like you can be comfortable 30 and living in the province.
Right.
And then what would be in the province? What would be considered really good in the province?
Yep, the food is
Well,
very less expensive.
yeah, but no,
Very.
yeah, money wise, what do you think is really really good money wise in the province every month?
When you're able to earn or at least save 50 to 100, you're considered already as rich or like well off, or
Right, 50 to 100. That's like well off in the province.
that's right.
Okay, so now if you were living in the city, what is enough in the city?
To have a comfortable living in city, I think 50 to 100.
50 to 100, and then what is really good in the city?
Six digits, 100 and above.
100 and above. 100 and above. Okay. And then just so everybody, so to put that in perspective, so you think, so I mean, like, what is the average income of somebody living in the province? What's the average overall in the province?
For minimum wage actually per day, they're just paid 400 or 350 pesos. So that's around four, four, how do you convert that? I think it's $8 per day. You see that? $8 per day, and they work 8 to 10 hours.
That's that's crazy. So basically, you're saying that anywhere from like 550 to about 900, anywhere between 550 and $900 a month is considered really good in the province. And then if you're in the if you're in the city, like anything basically over like 1,200 dollars a month is really really good. Because if you lived in the city and let's say you made and let's say you had what is it, 100, let's say 120 120,000. So 100, if you had made 120,000 a month pesos, is that would you be able to live really well in the city?
More, more than enough. You can afford what you want. You can also afford to travel locally. Yep, more than enough.
Really, really.
Hmm.
And just for put that in perspective for anybody that doesn't know, that's about $2,000 a month, 2,000 US dollars a month, and that's
Yes.
living really well, really well.
In the city. Yes. Yep.
See, that is that's see from our once again from our perspective, like $2,000 a month is like you can't survive. I mean you can, but no, you can't survive on $2,000 a month here. No,
See,
nowhere.
that's actually more than enough. You can still save on that amount here in the Philippines, even if you're living in the city. You
Really,
can get a good food, you can travel, and you can still, there's a lot more left on that, you know?
yeah, really.
If
So,
I have to save and earn that money,
uh-huh.
I could afford myself international travel, you know?
Really? Would
Yes.
you be able to afford a car there on that salary?
Car, you mean
Yeah,
car?
yeah, a car. Would you be able to afford a car on that salary?
Yes. Monthly, because we have like monthly installment on that.
Hmm.
They have a certain standard how much you're earning every month for you to get a car here. Because if you can pay it in full, that tells a lot on you.
Of course, yeah.
But if you have to pay it in monthly, they have certain qualifications, your monthly income, they have to consider that. So
Right.
it at least to be 30 to 50,000 for you to be able to start, a monthly income. And
Yeah.
then if you go in 100, that's already a best standard. Oh, this person has a money, they can afford this.
Really, really. Yeah,
Right.
I'm actually, like when I come there, I'm gonna be looking for a new motorcycle when I come there. So, um, I'm going to go to the dealership. I actually made an appointment already. So when I'm there in 2 weeks, so I can get a fancy new motorcycle. Yeah,
Wow.
that's the plan. That's the plan anyway. I got to get rid of the one I have here, but yeah, I need one there, which that's pretty good. And like the whole concept of like only having of it being like something like $2,000 a month and being able to afford it. Like if you only make $2,000 a month, you could never buy a car here because our cars, like the cheapest cars, like the absolute cheapest cars are about two. And the cheapest car I can think of is about two, like brand new, a brand new car is about 2 to 3 million pesos. That's
But
like
you,
cheapest car.
yep, you know what? Here you can actually afford in 200 to 150 to 200,000 here in the Philippines to buy a second-hand car. It's gonna be yours
Really?
right then. Yeah. My brother was able to buy 250,000 a Ford car in cash. That's a second-hand
Really?
car.
With 250,000 pesos.
Yes.
That's, yeah, like, yeah, you couldn't, with 250, you couldn't afford, like, if you bought a car for 250,000 pesos here, that conversion wise, you, it would probably blow up. It would probably blow up after like a block. Like,
That's just crazy, right?
it would be the worst car you've ever seen in your whole life. It would be so old, it'd be like falling apart and dying. It would be so old. Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, but see, that's why I tell everybody, like going there is just economic wise, for Westerners, it just makes a lot of sense. And, I was going back and forth about being over there and how everything works and the money and stuff like that. And it's like, all for me, it's just like everything is just, it's more calm there. And I know it's not calm, because does the Philippines seem calm from your perspective, or does it seem crazy from your
In
perspective?
pro in province, it's calm. In city, it's really noisy. It's, all you wanted. If you don't have money, you just have to stay inside the room. If you go outside, it requires a lot of money, for you to be able to have fun.
Right.
But it's a lot noisier in city
Do you,
compared
do
to
you,
province.
do you like living in the city, or do you like living, like, let me ask you this, do you plan on moving back to the province, or you plan on staying in the city?
I'm actually in between because I love also the city vibe. I like to have fun, go on night outs, so I
Right.
enjoy that a lot. Though
Right.
there are night outs in the province, but it's different vibe in the city.
Yeah.
So when I look for a calm or a peaceful, mood, then I have to, dream of going back to the province, the
Right.
clear air.
Right. Right. And how often do you actually go back to the province?
Sorry,
How often do you go back to the province?
like twice a year or once a year.
Once, twice a year. Really?
Mhm. Right.
Really? Okay. Okay. And how often do you, as a local to the city, how often do you go out and party there in the city?
Because we are always in tight budget, so we have to be financially wise here. We have no one. It's except you.
Right.
So you have friends who ask you, "Let's go on. Let's have like unscheduled parties."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So as much as possible, I always like control myself not to go party every weekend. It's because it's draining my body. I cannot do that.
Right. Right.
So I have to have myself at least um twice, once in 2 months, once in 3 months. If it goes like three or more than that, I think it's draining me. So I'm good partying once in a month, twice in a month, something like that.
Okay. Oh, so but you'll still go out once or twice every month to go out and party. All
For the
right.
last 3 months, I haven't had a night out party
Unless
from the last 3 months.
none, zero.
I haven't had alcohol too. So you better be ready.
Oh, no, so that means you're not gonna. That means you're gonna have one beer and you're like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
You're gonna pass out for a beer. Yeah. See, and that's another thing. Like, what I've never seen. I've seen a lot of Western. You see Westerners if you go out, which I've done a lot. I've gone out in a lot of major cities. I've gone out in Naga, and I've gone out in Angeles, and I've gone out in Makati. I've gone out in all these cities and partied, right? And Cebu. And what I noticed is I see a lot of Western guys with Filipino. I've never seen a Western guy hanging out with a group of Filipino men. I've never seen it.
Maybe you're just too afraid, or maybe you have trust issues with Filipino men, but you have to try. They're actually very
Oh, well, see, with that, no, it's not. It's not like it's. How do you say it? It's definitely not a trust issue. Like, I'm not worried about it at all. But I've never been invited by a Filipino guy to, like, hey, come on, hang out. Let's go do. whatever. You know what I mean? I've never had that before. And I think that a lot of Western men, even the Western men that I've talked to that have been there, that's just never happened. They talk to the girls all the time, but they have no like. Are Filipino men standoffish to talk to Westerners, or I mean, they talk, but it's very like casual. It's not like, hey, I want to be your friend. It's like, hey, how are you doing?
Maybe how you look like in person, you may be a little bit intimidating to them, or you have a sharp character that couldn't, that makes them uneasy to talk to you. So that could be the reason. But when you go to a party, usually, when you're already under the influence of alcohol, that's the moment that they get a chance to talk to random people. Yeah,
Right, right.
I
Okay.
do that. I,
That's good.
I do that. I talk to them.
Right. See, and that's why like this I think this trip for me is going to be a huge like learning experience, right? Because like I'm going to be going out with actually another guy, which I think is really cool, and then also just like I've basically been by myself a lot in doing all the things that I've been doing, but I'm one of those weird people that I've been all over the world by myself, right? I've been in London by myself. I've been just all kinds of places, all just where it's just me running around and just figuring things out all by myself. So I think it'll be really cool to like actually have a different experience, and also like I think it's really important to have different expectations for like and like when you're to meet people and really like and not make it. I really I'm trying to make it so it's not all about just trying to meet women, right? Like I think it should be about like engrossing in the culture and meeting the people and really getting to know people all the way around. I think it's just a better experience all the way around for me.
My suggestion for that one, for it to be able to get a really realistic experience about Filipino cultures, you have to go outside in the city. Because it was personally experienced by my good friend. He lived in Michigan, and he went to my province
That's
for the
right.
first time.
That's
Yeah,
right.
he went to my province for the first time, and that's also the first time he experienced a birthday celebration. And then he noticed that in that occasion, there are like more than 100 people going there, right?
Really.
And and he was wondering why there's a lot of food served on the table. How many guests do you have?
Right,
Like,
right,
bro,
right.
it's common here. If it's a birthday celebration, you have to prepare. If you have budget, okay, but it's not really a standard. You have to prepare and ask the people all you know close to you to go
Yeah.
to the place, join with them. And then he was like very appreciative to the culture because he noticed on that place that there are certain people assigned to do chores.
Right.
Two people are like washing the dishes, two
Right.
are distributing the food,
That's
two
right.
are like you know assisting the guests, and then it's just amazing. And it's his first time to see a community, a real community on that place. So that's why he's very appreciative about the culture. So
That's good. That's good. Yeah. See that's what that's I want all of that, right? I want that whole the whole experience, like to be. And I've been out in the province before and things like that, but I want to be more like as a bystander and kind of just in more like I said, less focused about the women aspect of it, more just in getting into like what it's like just to be there, right? To be there and be a part of it and be welcomed into it. But I will say this: the Filipinos have always been very, very welcoming. Every place I've ever been has been very like, yeah, extremely welcoming, very like hospitable and happy to feed me and all kinds of stuff. And I think it's yeah, they really love to feed you. Like a Filipino love. Did your mother ask you if you ate every single time she talks to you?
yep, we do still talk actually. We're scheduling another talk next week, so I'm kind of busy this week. So I said, yeah, we'll talk next week.
Every time does she ask you if you ate or not? Does she tell you to like make sure you eat?
Sorry, what was that?
Your mother, does your mother tell you to make sure that you're ask you if you've eaten? Like, because Filipinos like to feed people. Like, I find that.
Right, right.
Right.
Um, we're actually casual lately, so we're just casual lately. So and then they're planning to go back here in the Philippines, in late this year, and yeah, we're excited. We're excited about that.
Yeah, no,
So
okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. And all right, let's see. Man, that's what else do I got? Man, the other topic I had was about the laws thing, and but you're not versed on that yet, so I want you to really look into those laws. But you know what? I'm actually okay with having a short video today. Just again, I'm okay with having a short video today because I've had kind of a long day anyway. So we're gonna do a short one today. I already did 40 minutes, and I think I'm good with that. Are you good with 40 minutes for today?
Yep. Anything good with you is also good with me, of course.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so like I said, I think that, like I said, I covered all the topics I wanted to, and more again to tell everybody out here is that, like, we're still just learning in progress, getting this all figured out, and we got a few more bugs to work out and whatever. But it's better just to keep filming and keep it moving. So that's what we're going to keep doing, and we're going to keep talking about different topics. And please, like I said, please make sure that you like and subscribe, and also sign on and let us know what you think about this. Ask questions, like help us figure out the type of content you want to hear us talking about in comparison to the Western and the Filipino perspectives and things like that. That's something that that obviously I'm very interested in, and keep this whole thing moving in the right direction. But you got anything you want to say, Greg? Anything for you?
Right. It's gonna be a new discussion today. Westerners might have. I hope that Westerners learn new things about Filipino culture. And right. And then if you're excited to get to know more about the Philippines, we're looking forward to our session 3 with Sean
Yeah,
next time around. And when we get a chance to meet Sean in person, of course we've got share a lot of things about Philippines, and he's the one who's gonna share it with you.
absolutely. We're going to be doing a lot of recording in there, so we're going to do all that. But like I said, we're going to talk more about this new vlogging law in the Philippines on the next one. And I would say thank you again, Greg, for being my co-host once again. I think that it worked out really well, and I will, we'll get back to you all next time. So we'll see you guys on the next one. All right? All right.
Bye, guys.